Good morning, dear students of grade 9. Welcome to this seminar about your series, MR series, grade 9, unit 6, exciting challenge. At the start, allow me to introduce my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Nasreen Saqbani.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
English language teacher, Damascus Directorate. And Ms. Rana Hamdan, good morning.
Good morning.
English language teacher, Damascus Directorate. And this is me, Abdul Majid Oghirli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Curriculum. It is Unit 6. We're going to start with Unit Plan. Ms. Nasreen is going to, the floor is yours,
Yes.
to talk about it.
Our unit plan for today, the listening to a decision on how to help a village, speaking, discussing favorite characters, reading a text about Thomas Edison, vocabulary related to the text, grammar imperative, writing about a solution to a definite situation.
Thank you so much. As usually listening is the most important skill, although all are important. So
Yes.
we are going to start with the listening part. I'm going to play the audio the first time for a general question. Then we're going to play it a second time for details.
Yes.
Listen to the decision of a group of students on how they help their
Is the sound
village
clear?
and do the tasks. Last year, there was a huge wildfire in my village which destroyed it. After several days, I was feeling sorry for what had happened. Then, I asked my friends in our school if we could do something that would help our village. We held a meeting with our teachers and decided to work hand in hand to help our village. We are its loyal children. So we brought 1,000 trees to plant in the forest. The next day, we went to the forest with our teacher, and we were so excited because it's the right time to give our village a hand. Our teacher Ahmed was a villager and gave us some advice about how to plant trees. We worked hard all the day, but we were over the moon because helping our village in its worst days is something priceless. We made a schedule about how to take care of these trees and water them regularly. Also, the forest in our village has suffered from loggers who want to destroy our natural resources. So we decided that if we see someone cutting down trees, we should advise him to stop doing that to protect our village. United we stand, divided we fall. You have to be a hero and make a great decision for the sake of our homeland.
Well, so the general opinion, usually we in the action-oriented approach, it says we ask about who, with whom, and about what and where.
Yes.
Who? Someone who lives in a village.
Village.
What is it about?
It's about a wildfire
A
that
wildfire.
happened in the forest.
Yeah.
In their forest.
Good. So now the general idea is about someone talking about a wildfire
Wildfire.
happened in their
Yeah.
village. Now we are going to listen a second time so that we be able to answer the details.
Yes.
Listen to the decision of a group of students on how they help their village and do the tasks. Last year, there was a huge wildfire in my village which destroyed it. After several days, I was feeling sorry for what had happened. Then, I asked my friends in our school if we could do something that would help our village. We held a meeting with our teachers and decided to work hand in hand to help our village. We are its loyal children. So we brought 1,000 trees to plant in the forest. The next day, we went to the forest with our teacher, and we were so excited because it's the right time to give our village a hand. Our teacher Ahmed was a villager and gave us some advice about how to plant trees. We worked hard all the day, but we were over the moon because helping our village in its worst days is something priceless. We made a schedule about how to take care of these trees and water them regularly. Also, the forest in our village has suffered from loggers who want to destroy our natural resources. So we decided that if we see someone cutting down trees, we should advise him to stop doing that to protect our village. United we stand, divided we fall. You have to be a hero and make a great decision for the sake of our homeland.
Well, Ms. Rana,
Okay.
will you please read the rubric right, true, or false?
Yes. Right, true, or false next to the following statements.
And read number one.
Yes. The first sentence. Last month there was a huge wildfire in my village which destroyed it. The sentence here is false.
False.
Because last year, the correct answer is last year, not last month.
Yes. Number two, Ms. Nisreen.
Yes. 2. The student felt so excited about the fire. The answer is false because they felt so sorry about what happened in their village.
Ms. Rana,
Yes.
number three.
He asked his friends to do something to help the village. Of course, they want to save their village. The correct
Correct
answer
is true.
is true.
True.
Ms. Nisreen.
4. They held a meeting with their teachers. Yes, the answer is true. To find a solution, to make a decision.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Rana, number 5.
They decided to work hard to help their village. Of course, the answer is true.
Yes.
Thank you. We move to the second question. So usually listening questions are either true or false or multiple choices.
Choices.
Okay.
Usually you don't have writing while listening because the listener will not have time to
Okay.
write.
Right.
To write.
Sometimes we may have this question, but it's not advisable.
Yes.
Ms. Nisreen, choose A, B, C, or D. Number 1.
We brought 1,000 trees to plant in the forest.
So the correct answer is 1,000 trees.
Yes.
Number
Yeah.
2, Ms. Rana.
Yes. The next month, year, day, Monday, they went to the forest with their teacher. The next day,
The answer
they
is next
went
day.
to the forest. So it's C.
Thank you so much. Ms. Nisreen, number 3.
Yes. Their teacher's name is Ali Abed Ayman Ahmed. I think he is Ahmed.
Ahmed. Yes. Ms. Rana.
The teacher gave them some cheese, advice, bread, or exercise. So the teacher, of course, gave them advice.
advice.
Some
Advice.
advice.
Yes. Thank you so much. We move to the following exercise, which is the second skill. Usually, the teacher can make the students listen twice, 3 times, 4 times. This
It
depends
on the students.
on the level of the students. But in the tests, usually it's twice.
Okay.
First time for general idea, the second time for details, and actually in the first time students get exposed to the listening.
Yes.
Okay.
They may understand everything or they may miss something. The second time they listen, they make sure about
They make a
everything
whole
they
idea
have
about
heard.
the text.
The speaking exercise is about 2 people. Ms. Rana,
First of all, we ask the student to identify the pictures or if they know anybody about them. The
we have
first
Bill
one,
Gates.
Yes, Bill Gates, Marie Curie,
Marie
Charlie,
Curie.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yes.
We asked the student if they have any knowledge about them. For example, some students will know Bill Gates and they tell us that he is an American businessman and he is a software developer. Then Marie Curie, I think it's a very famous woman was a very famous woman who has won a Nobel Prize in radioactivity.
She's Nobel laureate
Yes,
twice.
and she was the first woman who has
The only one
Yes.
who has
who has
Two
two
prizes.
prizes, Nobel Prize.
Yes.
and
Charlie Chaplin.
they have taken before in the 7th grade a text
About
about,
Mary-
so
Mary
this
Curie.
will help them to discuss
Yes.
during the class about these
Her
characters.
husband was a scientist as well.
Well,
Yes.
And
she
after-
was physicist and chemist.
Yeah, after his death, she took his position and continued. So,
The last one, he is Charlie Chaplin. He was an English actor. He was a comic. He was known by silent films.
comedian, yes.
Yes, he was a comedian actor.
Yes.
Thank you. The teacher can ask students to work in pairs to talk to each other about
About them.
this. Or he can ask two students to come out and talk to each other about it. Or can ask one student to come out and talk about one of these people to the class. So this depends on what the teacher wants. But in the end, what we want is to make students
Speak.
Speak.
Yes, and to give them time to discuss
Yeah.
in pairs or in groups, then to speak, and this helps them to feel confident.
Yeah, actually, a lot of teachers do this. A lot of teachers teach listening and speaking.
Yes,
Maybe some
maybe.
Ignore
skip,
them.
ignore it. We hope and we beg those teachers, those some, to concentrate
Right,
on
on
listening
speaking.
and speaking, because in the end, the target is to have speakers, to
Yes.
have
Okay.
social agents, people who can communicate with each other when they need to use the language, not only to write a letter or
paragraphs.
to
Use
do
grammar.
grammar exercises, because in life you may not be exposed to grammar,
Okay.
but you need
To
to
speak.
speak.
To speak.
English.
We go to the reading part, read the following text, then do the tasks below. I'm going to read,
Okay.
if you allow me. Mothers' decisions can change the world. One day, Thomas Edison came home and gave his mother a letter from his teacher. As she read the letter, his mother's eyes were tearful. Thomas Edison's teacher wrote that Edison was mentally ill and wouldn't be allowed in school anymore. When Edison asked his mother what this letter said, she pretended to read it aloud, saying, "Your son couldn't go to school because he was a genius, and the school is too small for him. Please teach him yourself." Edison's mother hid the letter and decided to educate young Thomas at home. Edison was homeschooled by his mother's decision. He wasn't able to memorize lessons and needed hands-on experience to understand and learn things. Edison's mother wasn't frustrated. She wanted Edison to be a scientist. He grew up and set up a laboratory at home and began his own experiments. He also set up his own telegraph station and sent out messages by using a train whistle. At the age of 30, Edison invented the phonograph. His work in a number of fields created the basis for many technologies that we enjoy today. However, like anyone else, he suffered through failure numerous times. But where others quit, he persisted. After his mother's death, one day Edison found the hidden school letter, cried for hours, and then he wrote in his diary, "Thomas Alva Edison was a mentally ill child that, by a hero mother, became a genius." Edison said, "My mother was a great woman. She believed in me and made me one of the greatest inventors." Keywords, Ms. Rana.
Yes, the first word is pretend. Behave in a way to make people believe something that is not true.
So, to show something which is not,
not
true.
true.
Sometimes I pretend that I am an actor, but I'm not. I'm a teacher.
Teacher. Okay.
Yes.
The second one, a genius, Miss Nisreen.
A genius, someone who is unusually intelligent or very smart.
Very, very smart, yes. Frustrate,
Frustrate, to make somebody feel annoyed, feel sad. When we have
depressed.
depressed.
To feel depressed, it's better than annoyed, actually, even
Yes,
though
or
it's written
sad.
annoyed, yes. Quit, Miss
Stop
Nisreen.
doing something.
To quit, to stop doing something.
Something.
Or give up.
Give up.
Yes,
Leave
we should
it.
quit smoking.
Okay.
If we do. I don't. Do you
We
smoke,
don't.
Miss Nisreen?
No, we
Good.
don't.
Miss Rana,
I don't.
good. Good women.
Thank,
Thank
you.
you.
A, decide the following statements are true, T, or false, F, and correct the false ones. Number one, Miss Nisreen.
Yes. Edison's mother felt happy as soon as she read the letter, and the answer is false. She didn't feel happy. She became sad.
She became
Of course.
sad, yeah, because it was frustrating, but
Yes.
she
She
wasn't.
felt frustrated.
Miss Rana, number two.
Thomas Edison's teacher wrote that Edison was mentally ill. True.
True. Number three, Miss Nisreen.
Edison's mother decided to teach Edison abroad. False. She decided to teach him at home.
Exactly.
To give him a hands-on experience.
Yes. And it was a
Homeschooled.
very hard work for her to teach
Him
this
at
kind of person. Although he is a genius, but he was
He needed
behind
special
the other
skills.
students. Yeah, he needed special efforts to be taught. Number four,
Edison wasn't able to invent anything when he grew up. False.
false.
Wasn't. Edison was able to invent a great thing. Most of the inventions that we have today are from Edison inventions.
He has a
Yes.
hand.
Especially the
Especially light
electrical
bulb.
bulb. Yes, light bulb.
And he invented a musical instrument, which is a phonograph. He has a lot of inventions.
Yes. Well, so type of exam paper for the coming year is going to
Yes.
be
Choose
a text, either true or false, or
Choice.
to choose multiple choice questions. Here we have a multiple choice kind of question. Choose A, B, C, or D. Number
So,
one,
To note, this exercise is not in the book, but we write it as an example
yes,
for the exam.
yes, Miss Nisreen, please, number one.
The teacher gave Edison a book, letter, pen, paper, of course a letter.
Yes,
Yes, he began his experiment at school, in the street, at home, or in the village. He began his experiment at home.
at home. Number three, Miss
Yes.
Nisreen.
Edison wanted to stop, go back, quit, continue, of course continue.
Actually, continue is not written. It was persisted,
Yes,
but the student knows.
should know the meaning.
The meaning.
Persisted is more difficult than continued. The meaning of persisted, continued.
Continue.
So the answer is continue. Miss Rana, number four,
He
please.
was 20, 30, 10, 15 years old when he invented the phonograph. At the age of 30 years, he invented the phonograph.
So the,
The correct answer is 30.
30. The student can write the answer in the space, or can write
Circle.
the letter of the correct answer in the space, or just to choose the correct answer by ticking it or circling it in the exam. Everything is going to be okay. We move to vocabulary. Complete the following statements with the words from the box. Actually, this is not an exam sample, but it's okay to let
To
the
have
students try everything so that when they come to the exam,
To practice using the new vocab.
Yes. This is one thing. Another thing, I want to beg our teachers that it's not just to teach the students how to do the puzzle of the exam paper, teach them the language.
Okay.
Teach them all kinds of exercises so that any kind of exam sample they receive, they will be
They
able,
can able
to
to
do
solve
it.
it.
The words are, Miss Nisreen,
Genius, frustrates, experiments,
persistent.
persistent.
Miss Rana, number 1, please.
My father was a genius at storytelling.
A genius
At
at storytelling. Number 2, Miss Nisreen.
His experiment showed that lightning was a kind of electricity.
Yes,
Number 3, Miss
she
Rana.
persisted with her studies in spite of financial problems.
Continued. Miss Nisreen, number 4.
Failing more than once frustrates students.
Yes, usually frustrates.
Yes.
But
Okay.
geniuses or hardworking students will not be frustrated,
Will not give up.
will not
Yes.
give up. We move to the activity book. Actually, our advice to the teachers, don't give the activity book in a session and the student book in a session.
No,
They have
yes.
The
one
curriculum is prepared to be taught at the
Side
same
by
time,
side.
side by side. The activity book is to practice
Practice.
what they took in the student book.
Yes.
We have a reading text again. Do you allow me to read or do you want to read?
you,
It's up to you.
no, you can't read.
No, Yuri.
Okay. All are involved without exception. Here are some examples of successful people with Down syndrome who have proved that they have been really good at taking decisions and they achieved their aims. From an early age, Isabella Springmall Tejada decided to follow the footsteps of her grandmother, who was a designer. As a child, Isabella would create clothes for her dolls, but playing eventually turned into work when she enrolled in a fashion course. Her designs aimed specifically at people with Down syndrome. Springmall had her first big showcase in 2015, where she sold her complete collection. The success of her show garnered international attention, and in 2016 her designs were shown at London Fashion Week, which was followed by another exhibit in Rome. Sujit Desai is from Buffalo, New York. He graduated from high school. 2 years later, he decided to study music and graduated from Berkshire Hill Music Academy. Now, he is a famous musician. All in all, Desai can play 7 instruments. His greatest accomplishment so far was his 2015 performance at Carnegie Hall, for which he received standing ovation. Pablo Pineda is an actor and educator, most well known for being the first European with Down syndrome who made his decision to obtain a university degree. In 2009, he won the Silver Shell Award at the International Film Festival for his role in Utambin, a film about a university graduate with Down syndrome. Although he still acts, Pineda is currently working on implementing an international strategy to increase employment opportunities for people with disabilities. People are able to challenge difficult circumstances and be successful. They can make the right decision if they are well trained and if they intend to do so. Ms. Nisreen, keywords, please.
Eventually, after a long time or after a lot of things have happened.
It can be as a result.
Okay, or
It
at
can
the
be.
end.
At the end.
At the end.
Then, like this, eventually, in the end, as a result.
Okay.
So, all these words can be in the same
Synonym.
place.
Finally.
Second one, Miss Rana, please.
Enroll, to arrange to join a school, a university, or a course. To make
To be re-
somebody a member in a club or a
register.
university.
To register.
Okay,
To register
To
in a
register.
course. Garner.
Garner
Miss
to
Nisreen.
take or collect something, especially information.
Yes.
Collect information.
Miss Rana, accomplishment.
Accomplishment, something successful that is achieved after hard work. The act of doing something successfully.
Yes, the act of doing something. So thank you so much. Standing ovation.
Ovation when the audience stands up and clap
Applause.
Usually this happens when you do something
after
nice.
the performance of the actors.
Yes.
We see this in the Arab Idol or shows
You
like
follow
that.
Arab Idol shows.
Sometimes.
And the
People
boys,
is-
kids.
Yes. People
And the voice
stand,
for
stand,
adults.
claps
And the
loudly
claps when the performance is great.
or admired.
Good. Implementing, Ms. Rana.
Implementing, putting a decision, plan, etc. into effect.
Yes. We come to the first part of questions. A, answer the following questions.
Question.
This is not an exam type, but we can
It's a
do it.
comprehension question to help the student understand.
Mhm.
They should know that the text is about making decision and how sometimes we all should take hard decision, even if we, even those who have disabilities. This is an example of how they can make decisions.
Yeah, thank
Can
you
we
so
make
much.
a whole idea about this text?
Yes.
We should tell our students that this text is about people who have or have Down syndrome. So they make a lot of experiences to do their well.
Yes. Actually, I want to say something.
Yes.
Although the target of this session is the students of grade 9, it's a good idea to ask our teachers to do what we advise them to do.
Yes.
Usually reading, we have pre-reading, we have
While
while reading,
reading
we have
and
post-reading.
reading.
And usually we ask the students to skim and then scan and then to read. Skim is to have a quick look to see
General reading.
the general idea of the
Text.
text. Then to read for details. So prepare your students by making them read quickly and ask them a quick question about
Or
something.
comprehension.
They don't need to read everything, they just want to find what you asked
Or
about
to
as a teacher.
translate every word.
Yeah, this is a killing thing. Please don't translate. Actually, here again I want to say something. Teachers say you live on Mars. You're not here on Earth. You don't know what we suffer from. Yes, we know what
We
you
have,
suffer from.
Low
We
level.
Actually-
suffer also. We are teachers.
Yeah, of course. When the student passes 9 years of education, taking it by translating every word into Arabic, then when the student comes to you as a teacher of grade 9, it's kind of next to impossible to teach him without translating.
Mission possible.
But in this case, you can ask your students before they have the lesson. You can say, next time,
Prepare it.
prepare at home, find out the meaning of words in Arabic for you, and don't tell me the meaning in Arabic, but for you, prepare, find out the meaning, check it up in a dictionary, and then when they come, they don't need to ask. Again, this is theoretical. Maybe this happens with good students,
Okay.
but our classes are stuffed with
Yes.
students. Some may say we have 80 students in our classrooms, and you are talking about a classroom of about 20 students. Yes, you are absolutely right. But we can solve this problem gradually if we start from grade 1.
One.
And I want to tell grade 1 teachers that these students, these pupils, don't need to understand every word you say, but they need to understand the
Or
lesson.
maybe we can clarify the idea with some tools like pictures or like anything.
You are going to
they-
use pictures, you can mime, but they need to understand the
whole
lesson,
idea
the objectives of the
the
lesson.
Yes.
Then they come to the second lesson, they understand something else. We call it a scaffolding,
Yes,
a
gradual.
scaffolding process.
Yes.
So when they go to grade 2, in the same way, in teaching, they will continue scaffolding. Then they go to grade 3. When they are grade 6, they will not need
To know
to
any word.
translate
To
any word
translate.
because they know how to understand it from their background vocabulary. When they come to grade 9, they will not need to translate. But
At all.
unfortunately, not all teachers follow this method. We hope teachers follow this method to teach in English starting from grade 1, then grade 2, and so on. If you receive weak students, as we said, encourage them to check the meanings of the word at home. When they come, they do not need to translate. If they didn't understand, you can ask another student who is good enough to help the weak ones.
Yes.
But in the end, do it in English and you will see that you are going to improve.
We hope this will happen in our new curriculum, IMAR. They will use step by step.
Yeah, we
to-
need to be optimistic.
Yes.
We need to be. I don't know. I am optimist. I hope everyone is going to be like this. Although we have stuffed classes, we have a lot of students in the same classroom, we are going to do our best.
Yes.
In the end, it's not easy, but if you have a will, there
We
is
can
a
do
way.
it.
Question number 1, Miss Rana.
For whom did Isabella design clothes? She designed clothes to people with Down syndrome.
For people with Down
Down
syndrome.
syndrome.
For people with
With
Down
Down
syndrome.
syndrome.
Question number 2, Miss
Why do you
Nasreen.
think Sijid Desai received a standing ovation? He received a standing ovation for his 2015 performance at Carnegie Hall.
Carnegie Hall, yes.
Carnegie.
Thank you. Number 3, Miss Rana.
What makes Pablo Pienda different? Being the first European with Down syndrome who made his decision to obtain a university degree.
Yes, because he had the Down syndrome, but he continued. So
His studies
he was
to
the
have
first European
European
with Down syndrome who made his decision to obtain
a
a
university,
university degree. Good. He is a hero. Miss Nasreen,
Why
number 4.
is Pablo working hard to produce a new international strategy? He was working hard to increase employment opportunities for people with disabilities.
Yeah. He had this kind of illness, so he wanted to help everyone
people.
who has disability. Now decide if the following are true or false. Miss Rana, number 1.
Yes, Isabella's Primol Tijada decided to follow the footsteps of her mother. The correct answer is false because she wanted to, or she decided to follow the footsteps of her grandmother.
Grandmother, not mother. Yes, thank you so much. Number 2, Miss
In
Nasreen.
2016, Isabella designs were shown at London Fashion Week. Yes, true?
True. Thank you. Miss Rana, number 3.
Yes, Sojit Desai decided to study math. False, he decided to study music.
Music. And he became a musician. Number 4, Miss Nasreen.
Pablo Pienda lost the Silver Shell Award. False.
No, he won.
He won it.
Yes, he won it. Vocabulary exercise. Miss Rana, will you please read the rubric?
Yes, prove footsteps, specifically graduated instrument performance. The first one, he heard someone's footsteps in the hall.
Someone's footsteps in the hall. Yes. Number 2, Miss Nasreen.
You're wrong, and I can prove it.
Prove it. Usually, a lot of people think that others are wrong and they can prove it. Good. Unfortunately,
All
we have
people.
this. No, not all. Most of the people, maybe.
Yes, she graduated from university this year.
Graduated. She graduated from
From
university
university
this
this
year. Number 4, Miss Nasreen.
I specifically told you not to go near the water.
I specifically told you not to go near the water.
It's a word
Number
here.
5, Miss Rana.
She gave the greatest performance of her career.
Performance. Thank you. Number 6,
Is he learning to play an instrument?
an instrument.
So the aim of this exercise is to use the new vocabs, but in other
Situation.
in other situation, other way.
Usually, we need to teach the students how to use the vocabulary in sentences more than to know the meaning of these words. Because in the end, if I know a dictionary, but I don't know how to use it in a sentence, it's useless.
So it's,
I may understand you if you speak to me because I know the meaning of the words, but I cannot communicate with you. So, having an ability to put words in sentences is very important. And again, for teachers, I want to say something about the curriculum. The new exam sample says you're going to have a writing composition not the same as in the book. And this was done on purpose.
yes.
I'm going to clarify this if you allow me. In the past, we used to write sentences. Then we developed to write paragraphs. We thought that teachers are going to train the students on how to write sentences, then paragraphs. But what had happened was a lot of teachers followed each other to write ready written composition. Then they printed it, copied it, then they sold it to the students. Students in
Ask them
turn
to memorize.
memorized these composition paragraphs, and they got high marks in exams.
Yes.
But it was kind of vain, because they were not, most of the people or the students cannot write a composition by themselves. Not only that, if you change the rubric, if in the book it was in the past and the question came to be in the future, a lot of students were not able
They lost marks.
to
To write a
change it
sentence.
because they learned by heart the composition in the past. Now the aim is to prevent these wicked teacher from writing ready written composition paragraphs, and they need to teach the students how to write sentences, then how to connect these sentences with each other, and when someone can write 5 sentences, he will be able to write a composition.
So this is an announcement that the composition will be parallel to the
Yes,
topics of
yes,
the book, not
yes.
the same one.
No, not the same one. It shouldn't be the same one, because if we have it the same one, the teachers are going to write it for the students. Students are going to memorize. This is what we don't want.
This is
You
not
may
a
say-
language.
You may say, who are you? We have our experience. We study the issue. We know that we have weaknesses and we want to work on solving it. We found that the best way is to make the teachers teach the students how to write sentences so that the students can write paragraphs.
Yes.
We move to the following
To the
part,
grammar.
which is grammar imperatives. It is not complicated. It's very easy.
Yes.
Miss Rana,
Uses of imperatives. First of all, I must tell students that what the meaning of
actually, the first rubric is uses of imperatives. How
imperative.
to use the
imperative.
imperative.
When we tell something to do, when we tell somebody to do something, so it's an imperative. Imperative for
Order.
order
Give
or
an order.
warning or request. So uses of imperatives is give order, like write your name.
Write your
It's
name.
Write your name. Close the door. Open the window. It's an order.
I
Give-
started to have a problem with this ear plug. Yeah.
Yes, give instruction, take a deep breath. For example, here we have instruction, not an order. Instruction, for example, take a deep breath when I advise somebody or turn right, turn left. It's an instruction. Offer something, have some tea, have a seat. So it's an offer.
Have an apple.
Have
Thank
an
you.
apple.
Thank you. I like apples. Do you? Yes.
Yes. Make a request when we say please, for example, be quiet with the imperative form, be quiet, please. So here it's a request.
Request. Be quiet. Usually we say it at libraries, maybe in hospitals,
Hospitals.
maybe in the classroom. But I have an idea again to say. Maybe I'm talking a lot. I don't want to talk more than you.
Don't
but
worry.
some teachers, at the beginning we said a lot of teachers do good job. Now some teachers think that students need to be quiet in the classroom, which is not correct. Students need to participate in exercises, in speaking, in answering.
Yes.
They need to have pair work, they need to have group work, and they need to have action. In the past, we used to be quiet, and if we were quiet enough, we would leave first when the lesson finishes. But now, we need to change this idea. We need to have active students. They are going to be social agents, so we will teach them not only the knowledge, how to behave, how to, but the teacher is the facilitator of the lesson. He can control who can speak, who can stop, and when to start, when to stop, like this.
And we should tell them that don't worry about committing any mistakes. It's not a crime.
Yes, thank you so much for saying this. If we don't make mistakes, we will not learn,
Yes.
because we don't know how to correct
Correct it.
a mistake in the future if we didn't know about it while we were learning. Yes. Positive imperatives, Miss Nasreen.
We have two kinds of imperative, positive and negative. Usually we use the base form of the verb without adding anything and without using the subject.
The base form is the same as verb 0 or infinitive form of the
Yes.
verb. Yes.
Examples: listen, raise your hand, speak English, speak English,
Speak English. Yes.
be quiet, watch out, please have a seat.
Yes.
And
Yes, the
Continue.
negative
The
imperative.
negative imperative, Miss Rana.
We use it with the big. We begin the sentence here with don't plus the base form of the verb. Like don't come here, don't speak Arabic in class. So the negative imperative should use don't before the verb.
We come to an
we
exercise.
always use don't because we are speaking with you,
Yes.
a person.
Addressee.
Yes,
We are talking to someone in front of us.
in front of
Yes.
In front
us.
of us. So we give either an order or give an instruction or a request,
So
but we are
We
talking to
always
someone.
use don't. Yes.
So in the negative, we say don't, not
Or
doesn't.
if we
Yes.
want others to stop doing something, we say to him, to them, don't.
Yes. Complete the following statements with words from the books. Whose turn? Miss Nasreen.
The words are turn, please, don't, quiet, wake, smoke. And the first one, be quiet.
Quiet.
Be
Be
quiet.
quiet.
This is a library. People are studying.
Okay, when you get to the corner, turn right.
Turn right. Here you are giving direction,
Instruction.
giving instructions about directions. Number 3, Miss Nasreen.
Please wear a helmet when you ride your bike. This is a request.
Yeah. For his safety, please wear a helmet.
The bus leaves on time every day. Don't be late.
Good.
We have to be on time.
Usually buses never come and leave on time, but it's good to be
be on time.
theoretical and say the bus leaves on time every day, don't be late. Here it is on time, not in time, because we have timetable. We have a timetable, so we use on with things that happen regularly. If it
Okay.
is only one time, we say in
In
time.
time.
For
Okay.
example, if we start to eat and someone came, we say, you came in time. Not
Okay,
on time,
time.
because here we don't have a schedule, we don't have a timetable. So in time for one time. On time, something happens regularly. Number 5,
Yes,
Miss
if you
Nasreen?
want to smoke, go outside. Don't smoke in your room.
we hope everybody stops
Smoking. yes.
smoking. Miss Rana, number
Here's the
6.
last one. Where is mom? She's taking a nap. Please don't
Wake up.
Wake her up.
wake her up.
Whereas mom, she is taking a nap. Nap means a quick, a short
period
sleep.
of sleep.
Please don't wake her up. Good son, do you think he is the husband?
I think so.
Miss Rana,
Yes.
do you think so? You are
I
good
think
wives.
Yes.
Good wives. Because bad wives would say
No.
it is not the husband, it's a son, because husbands don't do this usually. But good wives
Say
talk
that.
in a good way about their husbands. Thank you for being good wives. Select the best imperative for each sentence. Miss Nisreen,
Yes. The first one, space, warmly, so you don't get cold outside. It's snowing.
Dress
or
warmly.
dressing. Of course, dress, because we have to use the base form without adding anything.
Yes, in
Yes.
the best form. Yes, number 2, careful. You almost spilled your coffee. So we say, be careful. Don't you be careful.
We don't use subject.
yes.
Without.
Actually, just I want to say something. When we teach the language, the student, we don't want just to say, like in the past, if you see this, do that. We don't want to say that when you see, when it
The
is
subject
imperative,
or-
use the base form. From the meaning, dressing warmly needs to have a result. Dressing warmly helps you.
Yes.
Verb.
But here, when we have so you, so
So
it
it
should
is
be
imperative.
dress. Imperative. Number 3, Miss Nisreen.
Space, after you eat a big meal, it's not a good idea. So because the second sentence, it is not a good idea, so the answer is don't exercise after you eat a big meal.
Yeah, because the body needs time so that
So it depends on meaning here,
works
the
on
using
the
of the
food.
positive or negative.
Yes, thank you so much for saying this. So, even solving the puzzle of grammar depends on the
meaning.
context.
Yes, on the context.
The context, not. Unfortunately, a lot of teachers teach grammar according to hints. They say, when you see now, use the present continuous, which is not completely correct.
Yes.
Because I can say, now I was 2 years of age, I could walk. I can narrate using the word now in the past. So now not always denotes the present continuous, but from the context, the
can know
student
the
can
meaning.
understand
that
which
it
one
is
to
about
use.
present.
And usually good students do it this way. But when the teachers teach in that way, the student will be prepared to look for these hints. If you give the student a question without a hint, just a context, he or she will not be able to do it. So please, dear teachers, teach even grammar through context, not separately or according to hints.
Hints.
We continue. Number 4, Ms. Rana.
Pause. Always don't save or save your documents as soon as you finish writing them. Of course, the answer is save.
Save.
Your
From the meaning,
documents.
from the context. Save. Number 5, Ms. Nisreen.
The teacher is speaking here. Jerry, sit down, please. Because
Yes.
as we said, we don't use a subject. We don't say you sit down.
Exactly.
Yes,
Six.
wife.
Number 6.
Me when I'm speaking. Husband, sorry. Interrupt or please don't interrupt me. So the wife said to her husband, please don't interrupt me when I am speaking.
Actually,
who
it's a
usually-
funny sentence.
Who usually,
Actually, it's
who
a
usually
funny
interrupts?
sentence.
Yeah. Who
A
usually
funny one.
interrupts? The wife or the husband?
I think the wife.
The wife interrupts.
The wife interrupts.
That's why it's funny.
The one who write the sentence is a woman.
Really? You can guess. You have this intuition. We come to writing, which
Yes.
is very important, as we said at the beginning, and I want to give ideas, to give pieces of advice to the students and to the teachers about how to train their students
To
on
write.
writing.
Do you think, Mr. Majid, that we have to write on the board a symbol to explain about how to write, or in this way the student will think only in this way? They don't have their own ideas, because they will take only this symbol.
You are very right with grade 9 and with grade 12 students if they were well prepared from the beginning. If the teachers start teaching their students how to write words, then sentences. Of course, we're not talking about dictation. We don't have dictation, but students can practice how to write by themselves, or to find the missing word letter like this. But the old way that the teacher used to narrate something and students write behind that teacher, this is not accepted at all. But all teachers, even from grade 2, 3, 4, need to help their students to write phrases at the beginning, write sentences. If the student is able to write a sentence and he reaches grade 9, your way is very correct. You write a sample, you discuss it with the students, you receive ideas, you do brainstorming, you see compositions written by students and correct them. This is if they are well prepared. But if you have a student in grade 9 or grade 12, even in grade 12, we're not going to hide behind our fingers.
Yes.
We know that we have a problem with a lot of students. So, to help them do well in the exam, now, maybe in the future, with your help as teachers, to teach the students from lower levels how to write phrases, then sentences, they will come to grade 9 and to grade 12 being able to write a composition. But for the time being, now, it's a good idea from the beginning of the year. Now we are before the middle of the year, we still have time. Teach your student how to write sentences. How can we teach them? We give them words. Yes, Ms. Rana.
We can use this strategy in teaching how to write. For example, I'll ask them some question. I write if I want them to, for example, to talk about a famous person or a famous celebrity. I say when he was born, where was he born, for example, what are his achievements. So from these keywords he can write a paragraph, then he can connect them with the conjunction word.
Good, very good. So we need to start with the students according to their level. If they are good enough to write, we give them a sample. We show them that we have at the beginning writing a paragraph. We usually either we indent. Indent means we leave a space of a word at the first line, then we write a topic sentence. What do we mean by a topic sentence? It is the sentence that tells about the whole composition. So the topic sentence explains by itself the whole composition. For example, we should save the environment by not throwing trash everywhere. So this topic sentence says that the composition is going to be about saving the environment.
Yes.
Then we have the body. We mean by the body the information we are going to discuss in our paragraph. Then we have a conclusion. In the conclusion, we usually summarize everything we put, and we finish the paragraph. If it is only one paragraph, if it is a two-paragraph essay or composition, again, either we indent the second paragraph, we leave a space, or we have another way, we leave a line. We start from the beginning, and then we leave a line, and we start the second paragraph from the beginning, but we left a line.
Yes.
So, what we need to teach our students that we have a topic sentence. In this topic sentence, we need to give the information about the composition, and then we have the body, and then we have conclusion. Now, ask your students to write sentences or even to write a composition. The more mistakes they make, the better it is. Why? Because they learn from your correction. You correct their mistakes, you tell them, here you missed the verb, here you need to put S, here you have to use another word. For example, some students may use, or a student may say, I want to learn my students. When he means teach, you can tell him that learn is intransitive, and usually you learn, you don't learn others. You learn from others. Sometimes even some teachers make these mistakes, but when they practice teaching this, they can improve themselves. But the best way to improve writing is to improve your listening. When you improve your listening, your mind will receive everything correctly, and then you can write correctly. We are going to wrap up. Before we end, I want you, I know that you have advice to the teachers and to the students. Who wants to start giving advice to the
About
students?
writing? Or
About writing, about anything you like.
I found that listening is very important for student. And between the student, I found them that they like it. They keep quiet and they listen carefully.
So
why
it's not
don't
the problem of students.
No.
It is the teachers who don't teach
Why
listening.
don't we get benefit of this skill to improve our student? And the second one, I think that I speak about it, is to give them time to speak. Some teacher say the question, then the top students answer quickly because they are top student, so the other student will stay at their desks and don't share. But when we give them time to work in pairs or in groups, they will take their time to think, and then they will answer confidently.
And the strong students can teach the
Can
weak
teach
ones.
them, they correct them. They will not feel ashamed that they will make any mistake because of the help of their
Their peers, the other
yes.
students, yes.
Yes, I advise the teachers to not skip any skill in our curriculum. They have to learn them step by step. Speaking, listening, speaking, reading, and the speaking skill, it's very important in my opinion.
Yes.
And here in our new curriculum, we have a great beginning in speaking. We have question, we have pictures. All of them help student to share.
And I found that we have time in our new curriculum. We have time. I think in the previous year we don't have a lot of time.
Yes.
As now we have time to speak during the class. So
thank you, Ms. Nasreen, but I'm thinking about what other teachers may say about that. Most of the teachers complain about 3 periods a week is not enough. Yes, it is not enough if you are going to give everything in details. But I was a teacher before I became a supervisor or a senior supervisor. I have a criteria, a standard, and I have indicators. So I need to fulfill this in the classroom. I may divide the students to 4 groups to read, for each group to read just some, not everything in the text, and to answer their part. So I can manipulate so that I go with the time. I know that you have a burden. I know that students sometimes don't want to learn. I know that you have difficulties, but we need to think together. We need to visit other teachers to see how they manipulate this, how they deal with the students. In the end,
and we ask the students also to help themselves.
Okay.
Because the language.
Well, they told me that we are done. Time is up. I'm very happy to have you.
Thank you.
I hope you were not bored because I talked maybe more than you.
Not at all.
Sorry for that. Thank you so much for being with me. At the end of this session, I want to thank Ms. Nasreen Saqbani.
Thanks, it's an honor
Thank
to be
you
with
so
you.
much. English language teacher, Damascus Directorate, and Ms. Rana Hamdan.
It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be with you.
Thank you so much. English language teacher, Damascus Directorate, and this is me, Abdul Majid Ogharli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Curriculum. Thank you so much and goodbye.